Okay, right. So mechanical measurements and metrology, right. So the comparator, right. We are going to see the comparator as a two section. The first one, we are going to see the what is meant by comparator, the need and characteristics, and mechanical types of comparator, and finally mechanical comparator, how it works, right. Second section is electronical comparator, pneumatic comparator, and then optical comparator. Right. The learning outcome: the learners will be able to discuss the significance and various types of comparators. Right. So first session we are going to see the mechanical comparator alone. Right. Okay. Again, the introduction part. We know, measurement involves three elements. So the measurement involves three ingredients. One is unknown value, another one is standard, another one is system for comparing them. So for example, if you want to measure something means any quantity or any variable, right. So if you want to measure some value that comes with the unknown, and we need a standard to compare, right. So unknown, standard, if we have a both, then we will compare unknown with the standard and we will get the final value. This is what a measurement, right. So it requires three ingredients: unknown, standard, system for comparing them, right. So for vernier and micrometer, the standards are inbuilt and calibrated, right. So vernier and micrometer, we have a scales in between, inbuilt scales, so we can easily calibrate and we can get the values as direct measurement. So hence the instruments enable us directly measure the linear dimensions up to the given degree of accuracy. So it comes with the direct measurements. On the other hand, in certain devices, the standards are separated from the instruments. Like examples are caliber, right. So the caliber or gauges or comparator, we don't have a scales. It is separated from the scales, or standards are separated from the instrument, right. Hence, these instruments compare the unknown length with the standard. It is a comparison measurement. This instrument which provides such as comparison is called a comparator. So comparator is a device which is used to compare standard value with our unknown value, right. Okay, so this is a direct versus comparison measurements. The first image shows the direct measurement. So we know the value, so we don't know this value for this component. So we directly insert our scale and we will directly measure. But if it is indirect measurements, we need to fix our standard value. So one of the example is dial indicator. So I fix a 0 value and again place, I remove the standard and I place my workpiece. So the deviations is calculated. So this is what a indirect measurements, right. So and the accuracy, it depends on four factors. If it is a direct or if it is a comparison measurement. So both are depends on four factor. If it is a direct measurements, it mainly depends on the accuracy of the standard, accuracy of the scale, least count of the scale, and accuracy of the reading the scale. So because it is a human element, alright. So this is what the accuracy. So direct comparisons depends on the accuracy, depends on the four factor. The same way, accuracy of comparison measurements primarily depends on the four factors. One is the standard. Again, the first one, accuracy of the standard, least count of the standard, accuracy of the reading the scale, and the sensitivity of the comparator. Sensitivity means again the instrument may affects due to the environmental effects or other energy or other sources, right. So these are the accuracy, right. Okay, the comparator. So it's a device. It works on relative measurement. It gives only dimensional difference in relation to the basic dimensions or master setting. Comparators are generally used for linear measurements, and the various comparators currently available basically differ in their methods of amplifying and recording the various measurements. Again, the comparator, it is a relative measurement. Relative in the sense, I have a standard. I am going to compare whether the standard is unknown or both are same size or same dimensions. I am going to compare. I am going to relate the unknown to standard. So comparator works on relative measurements. It gives only dimensional difference. In relation to the basic dimensions or master setting, it won't give exact value, right. It won't give exact value. It will give only direct relation between standard and unknown value. There are many types. Generally we use linear measurements. So generally we use inspect linear measurements, but we can use other measurements also, other inspection also, but it differs on the construction as well as the magnification or amplification factor, right. This is what a comparator. Okay, the functional requirements of comparator. If the comparator, what's the functional requirements? So a comparator should have high degree of accuracy and precision. It should have high accuracy and precision, high amplification, good resolution. The scale should be linear and have a wide range, right? So this should be there should be provisional incorporate to compensate the temperature effects. And finally, the comparator should be versatile, so it should be multi-purpose. It should have provisions to select different ranges, attachments, and other flexible means so that it can be put into the various uses. So, comparator எப்படி இருக்கணும் அப்படினா it should be the high precision and high accuracy equipment. It has good high amplification with good resolution. The value should be the linear, right? So, and it has wide range. It has a versatile. It should be the versatile. Right, so again it need to compensate other effects, other noises like temperature, humidity, all those things. So the provision should be incorporated to compensate the environmental effects. Right. Okay. What is the necessity or advantages of comparators? Right. So use of vernier caliper, micrometer, and other measuring instruments is not feasible for inspecting the parts produced in mass production. Not feasible, but we can use vernier and micrometer. But in terms of mass production, large quantities, we will consider the time consuming, right? So in order to avoid this, we use a comparator. So again, the skill, because of the skill involved and the time required to measure dimension, it is very infeasible. If you use mass production for vernier, if you use vernier and micrometer in mass production inspection, it is not feasible. Therefore, use of comparator is preferred in mass production. Again, it has other advantages like it doesn't require skill, or it may require low skill, right? It is little or no skills of operator. It eliminates the possibility of human errors, right? So it eliminates the possibility of human errors of taking measurements. It gives quick and highly consistent results, right? So again, we can achieve interchangeability, right? These are some of the advantages for comparators. Okay, classification of comparators based on the amplification and recording, the way of recording. We have a 4 classification. One is mechanical comparator, optical comparator, electrical and electronic comparator, pneumatic comparator, and other types such as projection comparator or multi-check comparator, etc. Alright, so based on our amplification and the way how we are going to measure, what medium we are going to use. One is a mechanical comparator. Mechanical comparator generally use a spring or gears, rack and pinion. So generally we use these things to compare. It's a mechanical comparator. So the comparator works with the help of spring, gear, all those things. Optical comparators, again, it uses light sources. Right, we are going to compare or we are going to inspect using light sources. Electrical and electronic comparator, again we are going to use some electrical characteristics like inductance, capacitance, resistance, all those things. So we are going to use electrical inductance to measure or to compare the relative value to to compare the unknown value to standard value, right? So pneumatic comparator, again we are going to use air. So other types like projection and multi-check comparator. So based on the working, construction, magnification, working medium, we have a 4 classification. If you use a spring or other things, then we say mechanical. If you use light source, then we say optical. If you use inductance, electrical characteristics, then we say it's a electrical and electronic. If you use air, then we say it's a pneumatic comparators. Right? Classification of comparator. Right. Okay, so first one we are going to see the mechanical comparator. I said the comparator works with the help of spring, gear, or rack and pinion, right? Right. So the mechanical comparator, the working principle is the magnification of plunger movement can be obtained by using levers, gears, and pinion arrangement or other mechanical means. One of the example is dial indicator. So dial indicator, we have a plunger or stem. It can move up and down, right? It can move up and down based on our deviations from workpieces. So deviations. So the movement of plunger can be converted as the indicating end. So by means of levers, gears, and other pinion arrangements. So examples are dial indicator, Sigma comparator, Johansson's microrotor, Reed-type mechanical comparator. These are some of the examples of mechanical comparator. We are going to see the dial indicator. Right. So dial indicator, it is one of the very simplest and the most widely used comparator. Again, it is used for many applications, right? It is act as a construction for many devices. Like if you want to measure the angle, you can use a sine bar or sine center, where you need to use some dial indicator to check whether the surface is flat or all those things, right? So dial indicator, again, it may be it can called as it will called as a dial called probe indicator, test indicator, dial test indicator, drop indicator, plunger indicator. So these are the other names for dial indicator. And the range, it may be 0 to 10 mm to 0.25 mm. Right? The working principle is, again, the magnification of plunger movement can be obtained by using a rack and pinion gear arrangement. A rack and pinion. Right? So this is the image of dial indicator. So we have a base and then the reference surface. At reference surface we have a vertical structure called stand. At the stand we have a horizontal bar. Right? At the end of the horizontal bar we have a dial indicator, and it is clamped with clamping, and the stand clamp is used to locate the horizontal bar. It can adjust based on our height adjustment, right? So use of dial indicator, how it works is a very simple one. If I want to measure the length of cylindrical diameter, cylinder piece, length of cylinder, assume that I am going to check the length of cylinder. So first thing, I know the length, it should be 10 mm, 10 units or 10 units of that. Then I need to arrange slip gauges. So first thing என்ன பண்றேன், standard slip gauge வந்து 10 க்கு arrange பண்ணிட்டு the probe ஓட பாத்தீங்க அப்படினா it will touches the standard. Again I have a screw, I will adjust the value as a 0 in dial indicator. After setting this, I will remove settings. I mean standard sign slip gauge is remove பண்ணிட்டு I will place my work pieces. So if any deviations in the dial indicator, then I can say this is the variation. So it will first adjust the height of indicator, insert slip gauges and set indicator to 0, remove slip gauges and insert work pieces, record indicator reading. So these are the working. Right. So again the internal part. This is a front view. This is only the side view. This is only the cross-section view of dial indicator. Right. So we have a test cap, indicating hand. It shows the value. Bezel clamp, bezel. Again a revolution counter. So if it completes 1 revolution, means it will move one step up. If you complete 3 revolution, means it will move 3. The revolution counter. Again we have a stem and then spindle. The contact points. Right. So these are the internal parts for dial indicator. How it works, the working is very simple, rack and pinion with the gear train, right? So this is a rack and then this is a pinion. So this is a rack, again we have a pinion, rack and pinion. So if it moves linearly, then pinion moves rotary. So the pinion is connected with one gear, and that gear is connected with the other pinion, and that pinion is connected with the other gear and pinion. So you can add more gear if you want more magnification. Right, so if you don't want any magnification, means you can directly connect indicator to our first pinion itself. Right, so it depends on our requirement. So this is a rack and pinion with gear train. This is a simple gear train. So 2 gears are connected here. The second one is a simple gear with the rack and pinion. So if it moves, and it will move. Again this one a compound gear train. So only thing is the gear ratio. Gear ratio gives the magnification. Right, so again if it's the indicating hand length, if you increase indicating hand length, then you can get good sensible, good values, accurate values. So these are some of the construction part. So how it works, working mechanism of dial indicator. This is like a plunger. We have a rack here. The pinion A is meshed with the rack A, pinion A, and gear B is connected with the pinion A. So if the rack moves up and down, then pinion A rotates. So if pinion A rotates, then the gear B also rotates. The gear B is meshed with the pinion C. So the pinion C also rotates. So gear D is connected with the pinion C. So if the pinion C rotates, then gear D also rotates, and it is meshed with the pinion E. So pinion E also rotates. The pinion E is connected with the indicating hand. So again we have some light as spring. The reason why we use spring means after inspect, the indicating should reach 0 again. So for this reason we use some spring. Right, so these are the principal operation. Like we have a rack, pinion, and then we have other pinions and then pointer on this. So these are the working of dial indicator. Okay, the dials, right? There are 2 things. One is the dials as well as the stem, the contact point. So dials, it may be the continuous dial or it may be the balanced dial. So has graduation starting from 0 and extend to the end of recommended range, then we say it's a continuous error. For example, 0 to 90 recommended range. It can be either clockwise or it can be anti-clockwise. For balanced tile, it has a graduation marker both the ways as 0. So this image shows the various tiles. So here this is a continuous clockwise 0 to 90. This is counterclockwise 0 to 90. So balanced one 0 to 50, again 50 to 0. So based on our requirement, we can pick our tiles. The contact, it plays a major role. It may be the spherical, it may be the flat, button type, or tapered point. So spherical, it's similar to our ballpoint pen, right? So it's like a sphere. The point should be the sphere. So it is a standard one, most preferred one. Make a perfect contact with the workpiece, irrespective of whether it is a flat or cylindrical. So in the piece of we can make it. For flat point, spherical vachhi nama flat pannalam, but instead of spherical, we can use flat. If we know the surface is very flat, we can use flat point. Then the point of contact should be huge, so we will get the exact value. So for spherical surface, but not preferred for flat surface. Generally, button type, again it is can be used as a light contact pressure on smaller components is required. So if you give you some pressure you can use button type. The tapered point, again it is convenient for compound surface that cannot be accessed by either standard or flat contact point. So the மேல எதுலயுமே பண்ண முடியல அப்படினா I go with some tapered point. Right, so these are the types of contacts. So standard point, tapered point, button point, regular flat, button type flat, wide face flat. These are the other. Again, we have a variety of types. Alright. So what are the problems we generally face if we use a dial indicator? One is it has a more moving parts. So the object should get wear. So more friction. So more friction. Due to the more friction, the wear will occur. So the accuracy will be reduced. Less accuracy. The slackness in moving parts. So it will give the less accurate value. Sensitive to vibration. Again, sensitive to vibration. The next one, limited range. Right. So these are some of the problems faced by the dial indicator if you use dial indicator. So moving parts நிறைய இருக்கும். So friction இருக்கும், wear வரும். மூவ் ஆகுறப்போ ஒரு பீனியன் வந்து ரொட்டேட் ஆகல அப்படின்னா you won't get exact value. Sensitive vibration. So vibrate இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா gears the movement ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கும், vibrate ஆகும். Again, it's a limited range. Right. So these are some problem faced by dial indicator. So the summary is comparator. So comparator means it will be used to measure relative measurements and the type of comparators based on the working medium like mechanical, electrical, optical, and then pneumatic. So mechanical comparator, one of the examples is dial indicator. Right. So thank you.